Bishop T.D. Jakes had long been recognized as a figure of profound influence, a man whose words could uplift, inspire, and move millions. For decades, he had stood as a pillar of faith and guidance, someone people turned to in their most challenging moments. But over time, subtle changes began to catch the attention of those closest to his ministry and his followers. Whispers about his health started circulating, small at first, then growing steadily, fueled by concern rather than curiosity. For many, Bishop Jakes was more than a pastor. He was a father figure, a mentor, and a spiritual guide, and the idea that he might be struggling quietly resonated deeply, stirring both worry and empathy across the globe. The subtle signs. For years, Bishop Jakes carried the weight of leading the Potter's House with grace, energy, and a relentless drive to serve. The church was more than a building. It was a movement, touching lives around the world. His sermons, books, and conferences had made a lasting impact, inspiring countless individuals to find hope, faith, and purpose. Yet, some began to notice subtle shifts. His voice, once booming and commanding, sometimes softened. His steps on stage appeared slower, and his pauses lingered just a little longer. Some fans attributed it to age or fatigue, but for longtime followers, these small signs hinted at something deeper. His occasional absences from events that he had never missed before only added to the growing concerns. By 2022 and 2023, these whispers had grown louder. Social media and online communities were filled with speculation about Bishop Jakes' well-being. Supporters carefully examined videos of his sermons, looking for any indication of struggle, noticing him leaning on the podium longer than usual or taking subtle pauses between words. Every missed conference or speaking engagement became a point of concern. Blogs and news outlets began covering his absences, and even fellow pastors were asked if they knew the reason behind his quieter presence. The public's concern wasn't about gossip. It was genuine care for a man who had poured his life into others for decades. The weight of silence. What made the story resonate so deeply was the silence surrounding his health. Bishop Jakes' family and ministry team maintained discretion, sharing messages of hope and faith without addressing the rumors directly. This careful silence only fueled curiosity and concern, making people desperate for clarity. Fans and followers weren't just curious, they were worried. They remembered the countless times Bishop Jakes had encouraged them to be resilient, to persevere through trials, and now they feared he might be facing a trial of his own. The tension was palpable, a quiet undercurrent of unease beneath the surface of his continued public appearances. The reality behind the rumors. Finally, after months of speculation, Bishop Jakes' family spoke publicly about his health, and what they shared was both surprising and enlightening. The narrative that many had imagined of a sudden crisis was not the reality. Instead, Bishop Jakes had been facing the long-term effects of decades of service, non-stop ministry, extensive travel, book tours, and the relentless responsibility of leading a global congregation. He had been quietly navigating fatigue and physical strain, always prioritizing the spiritual needs of others before his own well-being. The family emphasized that this was a season of necessary rest and recalibration, not a sign of retirement or defeat. Their words framed his pause as an act of wisdom, a chance for him to heal and renew so that he could continue serving for years to come. A legacy of dedication. What stood out was not the presence of health challenges, but the context of them. Bishop Jakes' ministry had never been about convenience or comfort. It had been about commitment and service. His energy, charisma, and guidance had inspired millions, but they had also come at a cost. For decades, he had carried the weight of leadership with a smile, hiding moments of exhaustion behind powerful sermons and uplifting messages. The family's transparency reminded the world that even the most resilient leaders need care and reflection. It was a message that resonated deeply, showing that strength is not just about endurance, but also about knowing when to pause. Transition and continuity. As Bishop Jakes stepped back, even temporarily, the ministry began adapting. Sarah Jakes Roberts, his daughter, began taking on a larger role in leadership. Her increased visibility sparked both hope and curiosity. Could she continue the work her father had built over decades? Would the energy and spirit of the Potter's House remain intact with new leadership at the forefront? These questions reflected the careful balance between honoring a legacy and embracing growth. For followers, it was both a moment of transition and reassurance. Transition in leadership, but reassurance in continuity. as Bishop Jakes' influence and values remained deeply woven into the ministry's foundation. The human side of leadership. The story of Bishop Jakes' health and pause offered an intimate glimpse into the human side of leadership. Beyond the sermons, books, and global recognition, he is a man, a father, a husband, a guide, and someone who, like everyone else, experiences fatigue and needs renewal. His transparency, through the family statement, made him relatable in a new way, showing that vulnerability and care are integral parts of a life devoted to service. This perspective encouraged followers to approach their own challenges with grace, understanding, and the knowledge that even leaders face moments that require reflection and rest. Community response. The reaction from the community was overwhelming, filled with support, prayers, and empathy. Followers expressed their concern and gratitude, reminding him that the same care and love he had shown others deserved to be returned. Social media was filled with messages emphasizing patience, healing, and appreciation for his decades of dedication. The conversation extended beyond the Potter's House, inspiring discussions among leaders across various ministries about the importance of self-care, boundaries, and sustainability in spiritual leadership. Bishop Jakes' journey became a broader lesson in balancing passion with personal well-being, lessons in resilience. Bishop Jakes' temporary step back highlighted an important lesson for anyone in a position of leadership. Strength is not measured by constant output, but by the wisdom to pause and restore. His story reminded the world that even those who appear unshakable require moments of rest, reflection, and care. His openness, indirectly conveyed through his family, modeled resilience in a new dimension, showing that true leadership combines dedication with self-awareness. Followers were inspired not only by his achievements, but by his willingness to embrace humanity and accept support from those who cared deeply for him. A season of renewal. The period following the announcement became one of renewal and hope. Bishop Jakes was not retiring, but instead entering a season of restoration, allowing him to recharge and continue his mission with renewed energy. His family, particularly Sarah Jakes Roberts, began playing a more prominent role, offering fresh perspectives while maintaining the ministry's core values. This balance of continuity and growth became a testament to the enduring strength of the Potter's House and the thoughtful planning behind leadership transitions. It also gave followers a sense of stability, knowing that while Bishop Jakes stepped back temporarily, his vision and guidance would remain present through his family and protégés. A universal conversation beyond the immediate ministry, Bishop Jakes' story sparked a larger conversation about leadership, vulnerability, and self-care across communities worldwide. Religious leaders, business executives, and public figures reflected on the importance of balancing responsibility with personal health, while followers were reminded that even those who inspire us need care and compassion. His journey became more than a story of individual health. It became a symbol of sustainable leadership, humility, and the power of honesty in sharing life's realities, inspiring both leaders and followers alike to embrace a holistic view of well-being. The ongoing journey. Even as Bishop Jakes recovers and regains his energy, the story continues to evolve. Followers watch with hope and patience, eager for updates but understanding that restoration takes time. The ministry adapts, new leaders step forward, and the foundation of faith and service that Bishop Jakes built remains intact. His experience has shown that stepping back to care for oneself is not a retreat, but a strategic act of resilience, ensuring that the impact of his ministry can continue for generations to come. Conclusion. Strength in vulnerability. Bishop T.D. Jakes' health journey is a reminder that even the strongest leaders are human. It shows that true leadership is not about endless endurance or hiding one's struggles, but about balancing service with self-care, dedication with rest, and authority with humility. His family's transparency, his daughter's emerging leadership, and the supportive response from followers collectively highlight the power of community, empathy, and thoughtful leadership transitions. Through this season of renewal, Bishop Jakes demonstrates that vulnerability can coexist with strength, and that taking time to restore oneself is not weakness, but wisdom. His story continues to inspire, not just through sermons and books, but through the example of a life lived with courage, care, and enduring faith.